Welcome back, my friends, to the Predictive Playbook. This is the preview for the finals in the Euro 2020 matchup between Italy and England that is going to be aired on national TV at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, July the 11th. And I am pleased to tell you I have nobody better in the world to be discussing this with you than Paul Carr of TruMediaSports. Welcome to the show, Paul. How's everything going for you this week?
It's going great. Ready for a big weekend of soccer between the Copa America final tomorrow night, Euros on Sunday. And the Gold Cup gets going here in the U.S. this weekend, too. So it should be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be awesome for sure. It's a great Sunday of action, too. We have the NBA Game 3 also in the same, that'll be basically following the soccer match. So it's lined up pretty well here. And we have played 50 of the 51 matches in the Euro 2020, and just this finals game remains. Italy dominated their group stage and continued the winning ways throughout the knockout rounds. England was the tournament favorite, so it's no surprise they're in the finals. But what is surprising is that they're in the finals for the first time in 55 years. Italy manager Roberto Mancini has done just a tremendous job, in my opinion, building a team with great chemistry, knowing when to attack, and then also playing with some really, I would call it grit, Paul. They bring it. And this will be England's toughest match by far throughout this Euro 2020. Head coach Mancini, by the way, is no starter to the English style, so he's familiar with it. He coached Man City for 4 years and won the FA Cup in 2011. And that was the first club's major win in 35 years. So you got to think that England's head or manager Southgate is a bit concerned about this because I think they're realizing they're stepping up a little bit in competition here, and the opposing manager has a lot of experience with the English style of soccer. How do you see the game being played in terms of pace?
Yeah, Italy is definitely the best team that England will have faced by a fair amount. They played Germany in the round of 16, so that's something. But Germany hasn't quite been Germany as we know them over the last couple of years. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see because Italy was pretty happy to concede possession against Spain and then figure it out on that end. And both teams, you prefer to have the ball, but they're not adamant about it. They're not like Spain where they're going to have 70% possession. So that'll be something interesting to watch, is how much are these teams going to press to try to get the ball back? Because generally through the tournament, they've been okay. Give us about half the ball. We'll press you some defensively when we don't have it, but we're not going to go crazy to an extreme on either end. So both the teams kind of like to play that way. Sure, we like the ball, but we're okay, pressing and counterattacking if need be. So I would imagine I expect it to be kind of cagey early. Maybe England comes out really strong out of the gate. They've done that the last couple of games where they've generated scoring chances or near scoring chances early on. So there's a chance, England comes out and tries to press early with Raheem Sterling's pace and such like that. But it feels like it's going to be a typical final, really cagey early as the teams try to feel each other out.
Is there one team you think has an advantage scoring first? In other words, if England scores first, I think that it's going to be hard for Italy to overcome that. And conversely, even though England has a great defense, if Italy scores first, then they have the significant advantage to win the finals. Is that true, or is that not necessarily the case?
I mean, I think England's defense in general is just a little bit stronger. So, yeah, if England were to get a goal first, I think it would help them a little more than it would help Italy, just because England's defense is stronger. And I think England's attack is a little bit better, especially given some of the injuries that Italy is dealing with. So yeah, I mean, England is your slight favorite. And so I think, they get that goal early. That's a bigger deal for them because of the way they hadn't allowed a goal until that Denmark game. So they've allowed one goal the whole tournament, and it was on a direct free kick. So the defense has been really strong. There's a little bit of luck involved there, but the defense has been great. So yeah, if England gets up a goal, they may just try to strangle the life out of this game.
Okay, and speaking of those injuries on Italy, the major one is Leonardo Spinazzola, who's the left-sided midfielder. In fact, he's so important to the team, they dedicated the semifinals match against Spain to him. Yeah. So how big a deal is this?
It's a pretty big deal. He played left wing back, so Italy will play five in the back, but those two outside guys are basically midfielders, especially when Italy has the ball. And they kind of tilted their formation so where Spinazzola was on that left wing, he would attack, and the right wing back would stay home more. And that was really a lot of the Italy offense was coming from through the first few games. Then he got hurt against Belgium, so he didn't play against Spain. And we saw Italy try to do basically the same thing. So they tried to work the ball down the left with Emerson in his place. And Emerson just didn't have the explosiveness, didn't have the pace or the ability there. I think he had one chance created and no shots. It might have been the other way around, whereas Spinazzola was averaging about 4 a game between the two through his first 4 games. So it'll be interesting to see if Italy keeps trying the same thing. If they do a personnel switch, I don't know that they have anyone better than Emerson to put there on the left side, but that'll be something to watch. Plus, England, right back, Kyle Walker, so who would face off against Spinazzola or Emerson. He's been great at the tournament. He has shut down just about everything on that side. He's got the pace to keep up with just about anybody that Italy could throw at him. So that left side of Italy will be interesting to watch. Will they keep trying to go that way? How well will England defend it? You would expect it to be well. But is Italy going to keep attacking down that left like they have throughout the tournament? Or are they going to try and mix something up, whether it's with formation, whether it's personnel?
That's gonna be fun to watch, because now I definitely have something to really pay attention to. That left side is definitely going to be on my focus for the game for sure. Now, this game is in Wembley Stadium, and that, for people that don't know, that's in London, England.
Yep.
So it's a home game.
Yeah.
And England's riding a 33-game win streak here. There's going to be 60,000 people there based on the last reports I saw. There was a parent story saying that they were going to try to get it up to 90,000. Is this an advantage or disadvantage for the England team riding that 33-game streak in the finals? Not there in 55 years. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I think playing at home helps. I don't think it's a big deal pressure-wise, just because England's played here already. They played group games here. They played knockout, the semifinal here. So it's not like England's been, in Madrid or wherever the whole time, and now they're coming back to Wembley for the first time, and it's a new thing. They've been playing there, so I think they're comfortable. It's not a big deal. England's had a very favorable travel schedule throughout the whole tournament. So I don't think it changes the pressure because they've already been there, and it does give them an edge. And I think that's pretty much the difference in the lines right now. So you look at, like, in 90 minutes, I think Italy's like Italy's around plus 190 and England's around plus 170. Your mileage may vary, but more or less. So I think that's basically the difference in those two lines. Is England gets this little bump for being at home. They're going to have 60,000 plus fans. We saw it in the semis. It was great to see so many fans and just the general atmosphere of the game. So I think that's a thing, especially if it's late. If England needs a goal to either tie or take the lead late in the game or in extra time, that's what I think those fans especially come into play. So I think it's baked into the line, but it's that little extra edge that makes England a small favorite over Italy.
Yeah, it'll be. I guess they're about 5 hours ahead, right, or 6. So it's going to be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock their time. And the last time I checked London, they have a lot of pubs. So I'm sure the fans will be warmed up and ready to go as well.
They will be well lubricated.
Yes.
5 hours ahead of Eastern time. They will be ready to go by the time that game kicks there.
Now, I have 2 questions for you before we get to your picks and your player props. England is healthy. They don't have any significant injuries like Italy has. However, they have one less day of rest. So I'm wondering, with the 4 weeks of the Euro 2020 and previous to that, a long club season, is this one day a huge advantage for Italy?
It's something. I don't know that it's a huge advantage. I mean, both teams had to play extra time, so that's kind of a wash, I guess. England looked pretty decent by Denmark looked gassed by the end of regulation, let alone extra time. England, not as much. They have a very deep bench. There's a case to be made that their attacking talent on the bench is better than the attacking talent that they start. One of the Italian players said yesterday or today that he thought England's backup 11 could, I don't remember if he said win Euros or be a contender, which is probably a slight exaggeration, but it's not all that far off. So it'll be interesting to see England's lineup, because I think the lineup they used against Denmark is really well suited to defending Italy and countering them. And if they go a different direction, they have that firepower on the bench. Really, they have it on the bench regardless. So I don't think the day of rest is a big deal, just because England is so deep. You get those 5 subs, you get another sub if you go to extra time. So I think that's fine. And it's a final. I think these guys, talk to players and they say, "Look, it's a final. Are you tired? Sure. Does it really matter once you get on the field? Not as much."
Good stuff. And the last question I have for you is the weather Forecast I checked about an hour ago. Scattered showers are in the forecast at the kickoff.
It might rain in
around
England.
65.
Yeah, that's a thing. I don't know that it's a big deal. It's going to play into something. You can make a case as long as it's not just torrential where it's going to kill the game, which from what you said and what I've seen doesn't seem like it will be. But if it's kind of it's a drizzle, then it's England's used to. They're both really used to playing and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. Sure, somebody could slip, but is that going to be an attacker, a defender? I don't think it's anything that can really factor into what a line is going to be. As long as it's just like I said, a light rain and not a downpour that is just going to turn this into a 1-0 type of game.
Good. And now for the what we all want to hear is your pick for the finals, and then after that we'll take a look at some of the player props you have bet at the window already.
Yeah, so what I played is England to win the title at -120, and we've talked about this before, and I will reiterate it because everyone who's bet soccer has made this mistake. To win the title means to lift the trophy, regardless of if it's extra time, penalties, whatever it might be. So you could play England to win in 90 minutes, which would be around +170, which would be a different bet. But I'm playing England to win the title at -120. I just trust their defense, especially more than any other kind of unit on the field. They've only conceded about 8 shots a game. They're allowing the worst shots in the entire tournament. Italy doesn't take great shots. They've kind of been reliant on moments of glory from players who are striking long range shots really well or doing something to what would generally be a low scoring opportunity and turn it into a goal. That's not to say Italy's been terrible. They've been fine, but again, they've been average from a quality of shot standpoint, and England has limited opponent shots very well. So we talked about Spinazzola being out. I think that hurts the Italian attack. We talked about England's depth, which I think is a big deal, especially if we get late in regulation or into extra time and Italy needs a goal, or England needs a goal rather. So to me, all that adds up to, I would think this will be low scoring. I mean, your over-under you see is 2 goals most places, which kind of suggests that as well. But I think England's got a big advantage the later it gets. We saw it against Denmark. Italy's deeper than Denmark, but a similar sort of thing could happen where England needs a goal late, either to tie, to take the lead. They've got the firepower. They've got the chances. All that. I like England lifting the trophy at -120.
Awesome. I definitely will be betting that. I believe you went in the previous shows. I believe you're 7-0 being on my show. So, guys,
all right, good luck, Sean.
Gals here, if you're listening to this is a guy to tail, no doubt about it. So
I had a good run to end the Champions League season for sure.
Yeah, incredible. So, in the player prop area of this game, is there anything that really has your attention that you're going to bet?
Yeah, the one player prop I've played is Harry Maguire over 1 shot at +175. So Harry Maguire is Manchester United center back. He's 6'4". So as you would expect, he gets his shot on set pieces, on corner kicks, on free kicks. He's 3rd on the team in shots at Euros with 7, which isn't a huge amount, but he's only played 4 games. And all 7 of his shots have been headers from these set pieces. He's had at least 2 shots in all 3 of England's knockout games. So he's the guy England targets on these set pieces. So I expect him to get, England will get 5 to 10 of these set pieces in this game probably. And they're going to target him on the majority of those. And again, he's 6'4". This is what he does. He'll get his head on a couple of those chances, I think. So I think you get a pretty good price. Over 1 shot, +175, because he's almost certainly going to get 1 for a push, and it's got a really good shot to get into.
Cool. And any other players?
That's my only player prop I got for this game. I'll point one thing out. Harry Kane is just about the only guy who has a shot at the Golden Boot. And so check your prices at your books, but he's about +600 to win the Golden Boot. And to do that, he needs 2 goals or a goal and 2 assists to pass Ronaldo. And so +600, not that great a price to get a couple goals, I think. But I do have a small play on this actually because I had a Ronaldo Golden Boot play at +125 a couple rounds ago, and so I'm going to hedge on this by not playing Kane to win the Golden Boot, but Kane to get 2 goals or more, which I got at +1400, 14-1. So that's a nice little hedge for me to come away with the profit either way. So yeah, so I guess I'm just saying if you are thinking about playing Kane for the Golden Boot, check the price on him to get 2 or more goals, because there's a big difference at Will Hill, at least, in the 2-goal price versus the Golden Boot price. If you play the 2 goals, you lose the chance of him getting a goal and 2 assists, but I think that's slim enough that it's more than made up for by the difference in the prices.
That's awesome stuff. I like that bet, doing the 2 goals or more for Kane instead of actually the Golden Boot.
Right. And he played 60 games for England. He has 2 goals in 7 of them. So, that's a good ratio. Admittedly, most of those are not against a caliber of team like Italy, but, the chance is there. He also takes the penalties, which is a big thing. We saw it against Denmark. He'll take England's penalties. So that's another thing in his arsenal, so to speak, as he tries to get those 2 goals.
Awesome stuff, Paul. I can't wait for this. It's like, to be honest with you, I've just learned this soccer over about the last year, and now this feels like the Super Bowl to me. Like I should be having friends over and a nice spread, nice barbecue going, and have some fun with this. It'll be awesome. And
I'll throw out, if you're looking for international soccer as well, the Copa America final on Saturday evening, I think it's at 7 Central Time. It's Brazil and Argentina, and this is as big a rivalry as there is in any sport in the entire world. So they're playing for the title. Lionel Messi has never won a major tournament with Argentina. This is his big chance. The game's in Brazil, so Neymar and company obviously want to defend the turf, beat their rival, et cetera, et cetera. So, whether you have a play on this or not, this should be a great spectacle. There's always drama in these Copa America finals, just as an example of the craziness that we might see. Right. So in the England-Italy game, the over-under for the number of cards is about 4. So which is fairly normal. In Brazil-Argentina, the over-under is 5.5, and there is juice on the over. So point being, these games get a little crazy, a little bit undisciplined maybe. They get a little loose toward the end. You see a lot of cards, that kind of thing. So that's just one kind of betting line example of what could happen in Brazil-Argentina. So if you're looking for something tomorrow night to watch, since there's no NBA till Sunday, things like that, I would encourage you to check it out, because it should just be a wild game, and there's a lot at stake for everybody involved.
Yeah, that's great. I'll be sure to check that out too. Do you have any leans on the game?
Yeah, I have a small play.
I don't want to take all your bets here.
I got a small play on Brazil to win in 90 minutes at plus 115. It's not a big play. It's like a half a unit for me. But I think Brazil's a lot better. I think they're much more organized. They have a solid defense. Their defenders, Thiago Silva and Marquinhos, played together at PSG for years, so they are much more familiar playing alongside each other than some clubs. Argentina, they are not a one-man team in Messi, but they do kind of tilt that way. And you can see if you've watched them at all in the previous games, there are times there's like, get them the ball and let them do something, and they're not totally sure. They have lots of other talent. This is not like a Cinderella. This is not Danny Manning and the Miracles from my beloved 1988 Jayhawks. Lionel Messi has plenty of talent around him, but just the way Argentina plays, not quite as cohesive. They tend to defer to him for better and worse at times. So I like Brazil. I just think they're better, top to bottom, start to finish, stronger defense. So I have a small play on them, plus 115 to win in regulation.
Yeah, very good. I'll be doing that play too, guys. And if you didn't hear me the first time, he's undefeated on my shows. And that's not because he's on my show. It's because he's really good at what he does. So, this is pizza money, or maybe double pizza money, as I call it, for the game. You don't get crazy with it, but you always bet with your head and not over it. Yep. Paul, before I let you go, anything you want to share with our viewers here about what's going on at True Sports Media these days?
Yeah, no, True Media, we are plugging away. We work with baseball teams, NFL teams, soccer teams to basically take all their data and analytics and turn it into an easy-to-use platform. So we're gearing up for NFL season. We have a league-wide NFL deal, so we're working with teams. They're kind of in their quiet phase before training camp starts. But yeah, we're gearing up. We're excited to work with these teams and just help them basically make their lives easier, is what we do for all these sports. Is they don't have to watch 8 hours of film. They can, go on a site, filter down to what they want, and find that video super easily. So yeah, we're in the middle of baseball, which is always great. Soccer on the European side's kind of in the quiet phase once we get past this international weekend and such. And we are plugging away and looking forward to football season, like I'm sure everybody else is.
Yeah, indeed I am, because that seems to be my niche, Paul. I was humbly said I hit 65.8% last year. It was number 1 at Sportsmemo, and
nice.
Going to play some of those Vegas events too, like the Super Contest and the Circa, and You know, it truly is one game at a time, not one day at a time, because of 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you know, and just got to keep it all on the ground, so to speak, week after week.
It's a grind. It's a grind.
Oh, it is a grind.
Something like Euros is a little bit different because it's a different kind of grind because everything's in a month. But yeah, NFL, it's a grind for half the year, and you got to stay focused. That's tough.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bad beats coming, but there's also those lucky wins too, where things happen at the end of the game, and you're the winner.
Right.
Maybe not because of the research, but you're a winner.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can look at Denmark, England in the semis. I had Denmark plus half a goal in regulation, so I won that bet. But I mean, I forget, England outshot Denmark like 15 or 20 to 6 in regulation, and Denmark had very low expected goals total. So yeah, I was a little bit lucky that they scored on that direct free kick there in the first half. But you take it and you run.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never give it back and say, well, I didn't deserve that.
Nope.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Nope.
Well, Paul, I want to thank you for being on the show. Hopefully we'll have you on again here, maybe for the NFL. It sounds like we have some interest mutually there to talk out some games, maybe some futures bets over the next couple of weeks. So with that said, England minus 120 to lift the trophy is Paul's best bet for the game. And on behalf of Paul, myself, WagerTalk.com, Sportsmemo.com, and this Predictive Playbook channel,